Usually start our Bible time. Some people ask me about how we should sort of deal with Halloween. So I wanted to dedicate just one verse and maybe a couple minutes to sort of go through that. We are doing this event. I hope everyone is coming to this event that we are doing after church. And Halloween. Some people ask me, what is wrong with giving and receiving candies? And I say, there's nothing wrong with that. Although your moms might disagree, I think a lot of your moms would think that there's something seriously wrong with giving and receiving lots of candies. I don't think there is anything wrong with that. But if you think about the Halloween and the ways in which people dress in the ways that are not honoring our God, and if you actually look at the very origin of Halloween, long story put really simple. The root of Halloween is that some people try to call forth the dead spirits, and that is something that we as Christians, we do not identify with. Are we clear on that? Yeah, we don't believe in such things, and we are not gonna take part in such practices. With that said, I don't really approve of some of the decorations that we do and some of the costumes that we wear that are reminding of those evil spirits or the horrific images. I don't approve of that, but I think there's probably nothing wrong with exchanging candies. So we are going to sort of, I think we're going to give you guys some candies, and we are going to transform those practices into the ways that are God honoring. Are we clear on that? And let me just read one verse and try to make sense of and try to wrap everything that I've said with that one verse. It says, 1 Thessalonians 5:22. Let's read it together. Stay away from every kind of evil. And this time I actually like the Korean version way more. 한국말로는 악은 어떠한 모양이라도 버리라 그랬어요. In every shape or form that resembles anything evil, we should have nothing to do with it. Are we clear on that? Yeah, that's why, even though I think there's nothing wrong with exchanging candies, I don't think it's a right practice for us to take Halloween without understanding and without making the right choices. And today at the event, we are going to help you to make the right choices, and we are going to sort of help you to have fun, to enjoy the day, but stay away from any and every shape or form of evil. That's what we're going to do today. All right, understood? Cool. And let me make my Bible time short today because we gotta get to the place after the worship. I'm gonna ask you guys a question, and that is, what is your favorite drink? I'm sure many of you guys will say, oh, I like different flavors of boba. When I was growing up, I didn't really have boba. And the first time that I tasted my first boba was when I was in 9th grade. And I had this culture shock where there were these little things inside of my drink, and it was chewy. And my friends and I didn't know what to call it when it first came out, and we would call it a tokitong because it kind of resembles like a tokitong, right? And we would, not recommended, but we would like drink all the drink and shoot the tokitong with our straws. Again, not recommended, but we would do that. But for me personally, I don't really like boba. My family will probably tell you I'm not a huge boba fan. I usually pass on all the bobas, but I have a favorite drink. Do you know what it might be? I love Gatorade. Yes. Well, I actually have another favorite drink, but I don't think many of you guys will know it, so I'll just go with Gatorade. When does the Gatorade taste the best? After sports, yes. On a hot summer day, you go out exercising and you're so thirsty, and you take out this ice cold Gatorade from your refrigerator. You open it, right? You kind of see the mist coming out of the bottle, and you drink it, and you feel the cool liquid going down, and you feel so good, right? And I almost thought about bringing a Gatorade here and drinking it by myself, but I kind of forgot about it. I should have done that. When does the Gatorade taste the best? When we are thirsty and when it's hot outside and when our body is craving for the liquid. When we feel thirst, our body is sending us a signal. We need water, we need H2O. That's why it's giving us a signal, and we call that thirst. When our body needs food, what kind of signal does our body send? You're hangry. You're hungry and angry, right? It's the hunger. That's a signal that your body is sending. And then when we get hungry, we eat. What is loneliness? What was that? Yes. Yeah, we human beings are wired and made to have relationship and fellowship with other human beings. And when you're alone, our body sends a signal, and that is loneliness. In the biblical language, God said it is not good for man to be alone, and God desires us to have fellowship. And these are all sorts of signals, but do you know what one signal that God has given us, every single one of us, is? It is our desire to have a relationship and fellowship with God and to be close with God. Let's read Psalm 42 together. Let's read it together, 1, 2, 3. As the deer longs for streams of water, so I long for you, O God. I thirst for God, the living God. When can I go and stand before him? And the psalmist has probably seen a deer that is longing and panting for streams of water. The deer desperately needs water, and the deer is thinking about nothing else except to get water. And have you ever, felt that kind of extreme thirst? When I play basketball, you can't really get water like in the middle of the game. So you have to sort of finish, you have to wait until the end of the game to get water or Gatorade. And in that extreme thirst, the psalmist, the person who wrote the psalm, has experienced in his or her longing for God. And my question is this: have you ever experienced this kind of desire, thirst, and a longing and a hunger for God? And many people will say, no, I haven't really felt that hunger, and there's something wrong with that. Let's look at James chapter 4, verse 8. Let's read it together, 1, 2, 3. Come close to God, and God will come close to you. Do you feel like God is close to you? Or do you feel like God is far from you? Where is God? Where do we tend to think that God is? He's like way above, right? God from the above. So, I thought that for a long time that God is in the heavens or is in the skies. And I was really, really confused when I learned that there are, like, above the skies, there's something else. There's this thing called the universe, right? This earth has the sky, and there's way more. I'm like, whoa, like God's not in the skies, then God must be in the universe. And, and we think that God is far away. He's above. But where does the Bible say that our God is? In your heart. You are on a roll today. In our heart, right? So God is not far, far away in the skies, heavens, or in the universe, but God dwells right here in our hearts. So if God is in our hearts, is he far away or is he close by? He is close by, but there's one thing that we gotta do. What is that one thing? We have to draw near to God, then God will draw near to you. And this is what we say in our culture, sometimes telling this to young people. Oh, they're young. They don't understand, right? But in the church, we never say that. You know why? Because God has created every single human being to have a relationship with God and to be close with God. So to say, oh, this person's too young to have a relationship with God and to be near with God, I would say that's not true. That's a lie. No one is too young to have a relationship with God. And I think that the reason why that God has given us all these desires is that God wants us to feel those desires and act upon those desires. When you're thirsty, you drink water. When you are hungry, you eat food. When you're lonely, you go hang out with people. And when you feel that desire to be one with God, to be close with God, what should we do? What should we do? We have to draw close to God. But what do we do instead? We go and play video games. We go and hang out with our friends. We replace our desire for God with something else. So this week, I'm going to give you guys one homework. Whenever you have a desire for something like water, food, relationships, like friendship, also think about your desire to be close to God and spend 5 minutes being close to God. Pray to Him. Just tell Him, I want to be close to you. Father, draw near to me. Can we spend 5 minutes and pray the prayer this week? Yes? All right. I see many heads nodding. That's good. All right. I'm going to dismiss some of you guys.